Welcome back to this edition of the Living Room Show. I am Eli Elijah, Eli the Voice. And today I got a special guest. It's actually my pops, Samuel Sanders Jr. Yeah. And being that I've been having these discussions, and I want to continue to have these discussions, but I just want to be real. And I want to always get down to what's real and not sugarcoat anything, and always be able to be transparent. So who better than to have my own dad on for this particular sit down and discussion that we can actually talk about some things, because the name of the show is not I Blame the Man. We can talk about whatever, here. But my dad knows that I've been on this whole crusade of I blame the man and everything. And, he had his input. But before we even get to that, we're just going to talk about little things. Just a few little things. Not go too deep into your background or whatever. But for me personally, I want to say that I've been on him, 37 years of my life. Actually, none of this would be possible. I wouldn't even be possible, if God didn't use him as the vessel to get me here. So I appreciate what he was doing, to get me here. And I appreciate my mama carrying me, you feel me, and pushing me out. But I want to say that I appreciate you. I've seen my share of fatherless children, daughters, sons. I think that to a degree, in the black neighborhood or community, or regardless, worldwide, anytime a household is broken, a relationship is broken, and a kid is missing their father, not consistently being there, even the mom or whatever, that raises parental issues. So, we call them mommy issues or daddy issues. So I do want to say I appreciate you for being there. I appreciate you for establishing a relationship, even after you and my mom were no longer in the same household together. I appreciate you still, keeping that relationship throughout your ups and downs and your own personal, trials and things that you had to go through. You still maintain to build a relationship with your sons. So I'm gonna speak singular and plural as well. So I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? For that I appreciate. So I just want to give you the floor, and I'll start off and I'll ask you, in your mind, what is a man?
You want to give me the floor? First of all, can I say what your name is again, son?
Man, you can call me whatever you want to call me. As your son, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm only teasing. So, Elijah, Micey. First of all, the living room. I can appreciate your spearheading this campaign or your pod or what have you. You're doing a great job. I'm not saying that only because I'm your dad, but I salute you and I applaud you for having the courage. It's not easy to speak to the multitudes or what have you. So again, I applaud you, and I hope you can have as much success as you want to or could desire or even think about, even more.
that's what's up, man. I appreciate that.
You asked me the other day, what stands out for me, the meaning of a man is responsibility. Responsibility to his wife, his kids, his community, his responsibility, first and foremost, his responsibility to God. We're here on this earth to serve God. A lot of people don't know that, but we're here to serve God, and it gets misplaced even by myself about what am I supposed to do, or what is my purpose here on earth? Is it to raise kids? Is it to have a job, become rich, or what have you?
Yeah.
No, that's not the purpose of the meaning of what God has for us. Again, like I said, we get that sidetracked or what have you. But more than anything, being responsible for you, again, family, community, and what have you, is one of some parts of the meaning of a man.
Okay, that's what's up. So, how old are you, if you don't mind sharing
I'm
with the people?
65.
65.
I'm glad to say that I'm 65.
65, that's what's up. Hey, you ain't got to worry about dying when you're 37. You ain't got to worry about dying when you're 60.
I didn't worry when I was.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? You know how some
dying.
people be like, hey,
I'm not even
they
dying,
old.
no.
I mean, you ain't got to,
I'm not even worried about dying now.
I feel you. That's the inevitable. So when you say responsibility, and I like that, that's what's up. as a father, because you have children. So yeah, you're a man, but I think that when you have children, I think that father and man thing is it's like, one and one. It's like you're a father first, you're a man before you're anything. So father, man. As a father, as a man, since being the father, how do you feel you have upheld your end of your responsibility as it relates to not only your children, but just being a man, since you've had other lives to actually care for since they've been in the world?
I've had absent moments. I'm not the perfect father, as I told you before. My motto is, I haven't been the best father. I'm not the best father, but I'm far from being the worst father.
So I mean, and not even, I'm just saying, not to. When you say you've had absent times, you're saying from all of your children. How many children do you have?
4 boys and 1 girl.
That's what's up. And you've had absent times, so that's the only time that you feel that you weren't out front in that whole part of responsibility.
When I say absent times, that means a lot of times I didn't have a job to financially support my kids.
Right.
But I did have time. I've never not had the time for my kids.
You ever been away? You ever did time locked up or anything like that?
I had small stints and not no long-term time that would be speakable, that would affect my kids.
Maybe a year or something like that you was gone, or even less than that.
The most time I've been incarcerated was 8 months.
8 months, okay, less than a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so really, like you said, just financially, the times where you didn't have a job or whatever. I mean, I still can remember at times you provided, but as kids, we really don't recognize what provision really is. You know what I'm saying? That we don't understand.
Yeah, if you buy a pair of gym shoes, then you're cool.
Right, exactly. That's being provided for.
But it's more than gym shoes.
Yeah, and then the house, based on where we live,
the welfare
the house.
of a kid too. When you have a kid, like you got your daughters right now, field trips, supporting them at school, being there when they holiday, taking out time to put a puzzle together, fixing them something to eat. It's a lot of details involved in having to be fathership. You got to be available for your kids.
I feel you.
Yeah.
So, being that we having this conversation as men, man to man, you have 4 sons, you said?
4 boys and 1 girl. 4 brothers and 1 daughter.
What are some of the qualities that you raise your sons with,
that
or
they
standards?
ignore?
Regardless if they ignore or not. I'm just saying, like the standards or some qualities. What are some things, I'm going to ask you, not even that you raise, what are some things that when you see these little boys, these babies, let's go back, you know what I'm saying? What are some of the things that was in your mind, maybe that you even learned from your dad or whatever, like that you knew that you wanted to instill in your sons as you're raising them? That'll be the question.
Something just popped in my mind. We talking about how a man teaches a man. I learned so much from women, my grandmother, my mama and my grandmother.
Shout out to
about my aunties in the community at large.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things in the black community when I was growing up was treat people like you want to be treated.
That's what's up.
And I learned that. I didn't learn that from my dad. That wasn't a masculine thing that was taught to me, but I learned that from the community. My mother and my grandmother. Take care of your family, which is the man would say. And my mom, my grandmama always said, stand up and be a man and be responsible. So when we talk about the male influence, but you asked me, let me get back to the question that you asked me. We cannot stop, our kids have to live their lives. But there's some mistakes that I made that I didn't want my sons to make. So I tried to instill in them a different path than what I had did, some of the mistakes or ills in my life that I had made.
Cool.
And pointed out to them that I wouldn't want them to make that same mistake. But again, we can't live our children's lives.
That's true.
So
we
can only try to instill, as you say, into them or inculcate our beliefs or our values into my sons.
Yeah. Now you're not from the streets or nothing. You from Chicago, born and raised. You're not a street guy, no gang banger or OG from the gang.
I can't say that right now. I'm gonna have to take
Man,
man, you
come on, man. What's wrong with you, man?
If the dudes hit me get soft like this,
This guy.
I can't turn it to no marshmallow. You trying to turn me into a marshmallow?
Listen, to my knowledge, this guy is not a street guy. You know, the street component that I did have to my life, it came from.
I was streetwise, and I knew
I'm saying,
about
I ain't saying that. You know what I'm saying, man.
I knew some real
the
gangsters.
gang banging part, yeah, man. That came
seen,
from Inglewood, man. That came from my mama's side of the family.
No,
for me, I'm saying for you. What I'm trying to explain to the people, well, we probably know there's some things you probably haven't shared with me, and there's some things I definitely haven't shared with you. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is this: we don't have to. No, we don't. What I'm saying is that I didn't see this gangster of a daddy. You know what I'm saying? Teaching his sons that you got to be this gangster or you got to be this street nigga. You know what I'm saying? In order to be a man. So that's just what I'm trying to get through. Like you're not a street guy coming off with this gangster street persona.
I've seen guys who've influenced their kids and they've been inherited as far as gang banging and gang related, gang relationship that was passed down. The tough guy image that you're telling me right now. And a lot of those guys, I can tell you right now that they are deeply saddened and what's the word I'm trying to
regretful.
find? Regret that what they did, because a lot of these sons ain't
Didn't
around
make it,
based on
what
go
they
get it, hustle, stand up and be a man. If you ain't a man, this validates you to being a man. What, to get killed, to volunteer yourself to be killed over nonsense? No, so that's man.
That's what's up. So as we continue to walk this path, man, I like that. And as I said, you know, I can compliment you. You know what I'm saying? I could big up you on certain things you instilled into us. You know, whether it was communicating, learn how to talk to people. You know, standing outside of a bank, selling candy bars. You know, whatever it was. That's why I'm asking you, like, in your mind. You know, what you just saying, like, hey, with these two boys, and especially seeing what we was potentially going to be raised at for the rest of our lives, you know, like, what are some of the things that you had to be proactive on to say, like, hey, man, you know, like.
So good work ethics, like you say, and there's nothing wrong with hustling. If you go to the wholesale and you buy something and you mark it up $1, and you know, what I have great communicational skills, which I inculcate, and that value I wanted my sons and my daughter to have, because communicational skills can go a long way. So I've been able to communicate with people across, you know, racial lines or what have you. Excuse me. And good work ethics. If you work, then, or if you hustle, then you're gonna get this end result. So that I wanted to teach my sons. Work. My grandmother again, she said, but they say the Bible said if you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah,
and I've seen a lot of lazy guys or a lot of guys that wasn't motivated. They just wanted to make it, and they didn't want to work every day. They figured they could get by on the hustle or what have you. But the best hustle I've ever had was a 40-hour work week job. That's the best hustle. Of course, I made money, more money in hustling sometimes than on the job, but the good work ethics, getting up and going to work, cannot be beat. And you're going to get good end results, and you can take some pride in doing that.
That's what's up. I like that. You're right about that. I want to shift, and I want to ask you what kind of husband, well, you wasn't married to my mom, so I guess I'll say
I treated your mom,
partner.
I treated your mom as good as or better than some husbands treat.
I can agree, based on what I've seen in the time, and even thereafter. But I'm just going to talk about the time when y'all was together. Even not only my mom, but your wife before her, your wife after her. I mean, let's be honest. Do you feel like that you gave your sons and even your daughter a good example? And I'm not saying whether you did or not. I'm asking you first. Do you feel that you gave your sons and daughter a good example of, you know, how a man should play a role with the woman?
You know, again, I have few regrets, but some of the choices we make, we're not happy. I'm not happy with. Let me say, choices that I make, and you wish you could go and take it back. When I separated from your mom, you see a woman cry. I cry from the inside. Like, you know, it's not gonna happen. Well, let me take my boys with me. Where I'm going. And the woman ain't gonna do that because she don't want to lose the battle with the other woman or what have you. And that thought just came in my mind too. But a lot of choices you make or decisions you make in split moments, it, it, you, you can't take it back. I mean, when me and your mama separated, we talked about that earlier. Then I moved in with Lisa, so it wasn't that easy on me. Also,
Right.
not,
I can imagine, man. I know. Hey, man. I know, man. I've
like
been
I
through
was
as a
saying,
man. I've been through my own.
about my
You
other
know.
son, if he going through an ordeal, and I can't see him separating or being without his sons in Texas. Yeah, I can't see it. It might happen. He might have to separate. To death do us part don't always mean to death do us part. When we get up to the altar, you know that yourself. You've had a divorce in your life, right?
Yeah.
So, sometimes you regret, and the choices you make, you have to live with those choices.
So are you feel so you okay? So you do have some regrets. I guess what of an example of that you showed? I don't need to go into detail, but
So let me say this: my first marriage
go ahead.
was my high school sweetheart, and I went on to marry her. Became my first wife. So our marriage ended up, and I can tell you, in my opinion, we got married too young. And anybody in America or otherwise, communication is a good key to keeping a marriage. But finance is a real big deal. That's right. Um, in a marriage, would you or would you not say that?
Yeah, I
So
agree.
finance was a big deal in that marriage, and
You said
then
that's
I
Brandon.
came
You can
over
answer.
to
I tell him
no,
that we in.
no.
Nah, it's cool. I mean, it's my
You
brother.
gonna
That's
edit
all.
it?
Yeah, nah, I don't. It's my brother. If he can understand that.
Oh,
My brother was calling my dad, man. I don't know. My other brother over here,
no, you
he
got it.
upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we in the living room, Brandon. I got dad
You
on
know
the
the living
couch.
room? Do you know the living room?
No, I don't know where that's at.
That's
Nah,
his
man,
podcast.
this is my brother Brandon. You we on the living room right now, man. We actually live on the set, and I'm sitting down having a discussion with dad as it relates to just basically man to man. You know, I
remember this. Okay, yes.
yeah. So, man, hey, I'll chime you in a minute. You know what I'm saying? I wanted him to answer the phone so that way this is what we got going on, man. And if you want to say hi to the people, you can say hi to the people, man.
Love to. Hey, everybody, it's Brandon Mayfield, Lifestyle Match Florida, here in Hollywood, Florida. I'm grateful to be with my brother here on the living room. Stay tuned. There's great content coming at you constantly. Let's pay attention to what's going on in our world.
That's what's up, man.
So
Sure,
Elijah's
and my brother, he a realtor too down in Miami, y'all. Y'all better get with him, Brandon Mayfield. South Florida.
I'm a realtor. I'm a car broker. Anything you need as far as cars or real estate, I am your person.
Brandon, what kind of father do you think I was?
And you have to be honest. But you have to be honest. Now we giving him his flowers because we know he a great guy. But I'm just saying, go ahead, say what you tell the people how awesome of a dad he was too, but be transparent as well.
Oh, I love it. So I'm gonna be real with the people, right?
Yeah, with the people.
I grew up a closeted gay man, right? And I knew that my dad always had my back, but I was afraid to express that. And I know that that's an anomaly, right? Because it's usually the other way around, where the mom is supportive, but my mom was not on that. My dad was very, very passive and too laid back at many times, but I can honestly say that he's always been in my corner. He's always been in my corner. Anything that I wanted to jump at or achieve, he was supported. And I can't say that for many people. because I've had some pretty wild ideas over the years. And my dad has always been there, present, and pushing me to do it. And may not even understand all the tools that plays for me at that point, but he still says, just go for it. And that's why I am who I am today. I can honestly say that the reason why I'm social is because of my dad. Because my mom, though she was social, she'd do it only on her terms. So at times I would be like embarrassed, because my dad is very bold. At times I'm like, ooh, that's kind of crazy what he's saying. But now I get it as a man. But it took me some years to get that way. And that's how I've come into my own, and how I am the man I am today is based on my dad. But I will say to passive, definitely, that's my only drawback, really. That's it. And way too nice. And unfortunately, I'm the same way. Too passive and too nice, and I'm almost like gullible in some ways. But I'm grateful for having the dad I have, especially being a man of color, because usually parents are hard on you. You can't go to them with emotional issues. It's always says be strong and you're gonna get through it. I didn't have that. I had support, and I'm really grateful for that, because if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't be here today. So I'm grateful, all in all. And that's just me speaking real.
That's what's up, man. We appreciate that. We're gonna let you go now, man, and we're gonna hit you up, you know what I'm saying, when we done here.
Thank you. Tag me. Got you.
For sure.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And that was one of my dad's sons, you know what I'm saying? Actually a son that he didn't physically produce, but that's his son, you know what I'm saying? And that's my brother. And, you know, we learned love relationships in that way. Even when he got with his wife, Lisa, which is my other little brother's mom, you know, like my mom, you know, it was rocky, you know, baby mama drama. And we seen that, you know, we seen that from you, her, Lisa. We seen that whole triangle. Man, we seen violence on both parts. We seen near death type of stuff, man. Like, yeah. And so, you know, I guess that kind of helps to say, I know you say you have some regrets, but a lot of the stuff that we seen, I mean, it was real life, and I thank God for protecting us even in the moment. But do you feel like we should have been exposed to a lot of that? We was kids.
One thing Brandon knows, and I tell my son, here's one thing I try to inculcate with my younger son especially. Watch what you say and do around your kids. I never was one. With Lisa, I always used to say, I'm not going to argue with you in front of my kids. And with your mom too, when you upset a kid, like Dre's got the three younger boys, a lot of emotional issues that one can have. Kids can be sitting in school and thinking, well, my mom's at home because she work at home now, and is my dad gonna come home and upset her? Well, so he's supposed to be concentrating in school, right? His mind on how his dad gonna treat his mom, right? And when he get home, he got to walk around on eggshells. You know, what's the barometer in his house as far as what's, you know, how much is the tension level in right now, you know, what have you. A lot of emotional toll can be taken on a kid by the parents not being able to get along.
That's true. I can't say that I don't think me and Trav had the time to even process it. That everything was just a continuous go. So I don't really think that affected us. And when I say we seen violence, it's not like that we seen our dad kicking our mom ass or anything like that. It was more so. I mean, my mama, she got more wins than he did, but it's not like that we seen.
Well, you heard Brandon just say I was passive, so.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is not like we just seen an abusive dad. You know what I'm saying? Or even an abusive mom. Like when you guys had y'all share fights, it was what it was. I guess to get down into some of the other stuff, because if I'm gonna blame the man, and I'm not, this is not a cop out. I guess I'll say points or a place where I missed you at, where I started to miss you. I didn't notice that until I got older, because there's times as a grown man, you know, I found myself crying. And this was years ago when I went through counseling and stuff like that. You know, I'm going through counseling as I go through a divorce, and I'm seeing therapists and things like that. And I found myself crying over things I didn't get a chance to cry over when I was a little boy. And a lot of those things related to my parents. Not being together, it was some of the time spent that I know I should have had. You know, like I felt like I missed you and being there throughout, especially my 6th, 7th, 8th grade years before we moved here to Kalamazoo.
You know, I lived in California for a stint.
But no. That was, we was out there for what, 9 months? That was in 92.
Okay, when.
But I can't, those things, we came back. So it's like, we didn't grow up without you. We didn't see you for 9 months. Came back, you got us, you had us, you was there, you did your thing, you had your baby mama, your wife, you was doing it. That's for a whole nother segment when we dive into his life. But I feel like that I needed you to show up to the schools. I mean, I wasn't a bad kid, but it would just been good to know that my daddy was just popping up, you know what I'm saying? I needed you to encourage me to be in sports, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was a little decent. I was good at football, but had I had somebody, there supporting and rooting me on, I probably would have went further or at least tried, you know what I'm saying? And even when you moved to Minnesota and we moved here, there's still some things, that you could have done, you know what I'm saying, as a father, because you have young boys out here in the world. And I understand you got a job and you have to maintain, but it was a decision that you made to bring kids into the world. One of the reasons I haven't moved away from my children, like I had opportunities to move away for more money, but I just didn't take it when my son was younger because, he was a little boy and I knew he needed me. So if I'm going to blame the man, and that's what I talk about, as far as that, as men, when we are not in position or when we miss the mark, and I believe I have failed society in ways. I do. I really do. And that's why I can say I can blame the man, because I know that I have contributed to some woman somewhere being broken. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I've probably maybe not said the right thing to a kid or rubbed them the wrong way, when I was working in the school system. Even though I tried to make sure I played it fair and loved on all the kids, but some of them probably ain't like me at the time, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, or in the midst of it, and what I'm trying to say is that there's a time where all children need their father, the creator, the one that created them. That's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, in a spiritual sense, we all need God. So when our physical dad isn't there, especially when he is alive, you know what I'm saying, because when you're dead, there's nothing we can do about it. There's a big absence there. We look for father figures and role models to fill in, but when your dad is alive and you miss that, and it shows up, you know what I'm saying, and how you play certain situations as a man, or, how you didn't feel encouraged or don't feel encouraged. Those are my reasonings for saying I blame the man. Because I can sit in front of, my own man, the man that created me, my main man, and say, man, I missed you during those times. Even as a grown man, I missed you. Could have used your counseling and needed your counseling. This is why your job as a father is never done.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. I tell people all the time that parenting doesn't end at 18 or 21. Dad, what do I do in this situation? What do I do? Give me a suggestion, what have you, about what different situations. So, it is too many, especially in the Afro-American community, too many absent fathers. And some guys don't seem to get it. And it seems to get worse all the time. I mean, I don't know what
what is something that
answer is.
motivated you to stay? Because
My
I just highlighted the things that I missed.
My dad was a great dad.
So that motivated you to stay and remain in your kids' life.
Absolutely. My dad took us and exposed us to everything from A to Z, and I felt I had to do that. with my kids. I not only did that with my kids, I did that with other kids too.
You did, man. That's true.
So
that's a fact.
So I'm not Superman.
I mean, and even if if I'm being honest and everything, because we have to be transparent. I mean, I'm a man now, and I watch you cheat on my mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I watch you, you know what I'm saying, and your little player thing. I mean, I seen you I seen you with Lisa for sure, but I mean, as we got older, we understand how this thing work and how men move.
I don't like tick for tack, but did you watch your mother cheat on me?
I did.
Okay.
I seen you first. You trying to do the timeline, huh? I seen you first.
Okay, if that's the way.
Yeah, you was kissing that woman.
That's not like I say, tit for tat doesn't make it any better about how you feel or how you saw it. But some things that. How old were you at that particular time?
I think I was about 5.
But you still vividly
4 or 5.
remember.
I
Okay.
remember.
The thing about it is that some things that adults do, children, it might affect children, and unfortunately it does. It affected you because you remember that. But some things are just not for children. They for adults at that particular time. The adults have to deal with adult issues. And unfortunately, kids are affected by that, by the backlash or the fallout, as they call it in the war or whatever,
So what could have done differently then? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that you just could have been faithful, or?
Sure. Again, it's not that. Listen, wait a minute. If you pinch me, I'm a human being.
I feel
and
you.
I don't
man.
use that as an excuse.
No, that's a fact.
It's a fact of the matter.
Yeah.
I'm a human being, and I am to error.
That's true.
So, I can't apologize for being a human being.
I feel you.
I can't apologize for my ills or when I hurt someone like your mom or you. I apologize. If I didn't apologize then, 30 or 40 years later, I apologize. That's all I can do, actually.
No, I feel you, and that's all you can do.
That's all I can do.
And so you do realize, not that you have to have any regrets, but you do realize that those type of behaviors, you know what I'm saying, could, expose your sons, your children to all right, it's okay to do that when I get in a relationship. Because I've done that in a relationship.
Hopefully not because of me, because by that particular time, yes, you're looking at your daddy, but you have come into your own intellect and your own thoughts about what's right and what's wrong and what decisions I should make. So if I make this decision, everybody knows at 4 years old what's right and wrong.
Right.
Don't go in the toy box. Don't go in the cookie jar. If they did, and when you get older, now your intellect has taught you, or I'm not supposed to cheat on my wife or be a womanizer or whatever.
Yeah, cheat on my girlfriend and anything like that. Yeah.
So your choice at that particular time is you become a willing participant on your own matters and your decisions that you make.
I can agree, but had I never actually seen that example from the number one man that I looked at,
and your influence could have been, I don't want to be like my daddy. I'm not gonna do what my daddy did to my mama.
That's true too. But on the flip side, I seen it,
and
so a part of me felt like it was okay when that time came.
Now you repeated the cycle, and it was a commercial. One of the greatest commercials that I've ever seen was that they had the crash dummy. Going to, you can learn a lot from a dummy.
So I appreciate you stopping by, man. I can't wait until the next time I have you in the living room. This is just one segment of many to come. Man to man, me and my dad, the living room show. I'm Eli Elijah, Eli the voice. And once again, thank you all for tuning in. Y'all be easy out there. Wonderful day, great people. Y'all say hi to my dad.